that oil prices would be going up, and they magically started going up, and that all this was going to be unfolding. But Bob Chapman, the first thing I want to get into before we get into the latest developments with Egypt, and there's been some big new birth certificate developments I'm going to hit with you as well, and that's that we see numbers of 1.5 quadrillion that economist Tarpley and others bring up. Washington Post says 600 trillion is what the derivatives are. The bankers have bought off Western governments to claim that we owe this money when it's their debt, not owed by us. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we cut all entitlements worldwide, it wouldn't even pay for a few percentage points of the 1.5 quadrillion. But if we can put this on screen, I didn't warn the guys, but we can try to pull it up. London Telegraph, Associated Press, Davos calls for 100 trillion in new credit. Sarkozy calls for 100 trillion. And then under fractional reserve banking, they can loan out 10 times that, so that's 1,000 trillion or 1 quadrillion. And Soros is making more statements like, I'm having a great crisis, like he made last year at Davos. There's the headline. World needs 100 trillion more credit, says World Economic Forum. And what they mean is give them the money backed by our tax dollars, and then they loan it back to credit card holders at 25, 30% interest, to governments at 10, 20, 30%, to corporations. I mean, this is crazy. They create the crisis, offer the solution, give them more power, and it's even admitted mainstream news that the dollar devaluing, driving up commodities, mainly food, upwards of half of the Egyptians and these other Middle Eastern countries being on the equivalent of food stamps. The average, about half of Egyptians make $2 or less. They're starving. You look at these rioters. I mean, some of them look like concentration camp victims. Not one of them is fat like a lot of Americans or myself, a little overweight. I mean, and the media is spinning it, oh, they're Muslim radicals on Fox News and CNN. Are they Muslim radicals doing it in Dublin, Ireland, or in areas of Greece like Athens? No, it's the same problem. So break down this demand for 100 trillion more, and then how much they're going to leverage that.
Well, they've been working on that plan for several months. Most people don't know about it. And the plan is for the whole world. That would be about $10 trillion a year. And they're just going to continue, they think, to inject this money into the world system to keep it from collapsing. And, of course, during that period of time, all of the currencies continued to devalue against one another, but more importantly, against gold and silver. That average has been on gold 17 to 18% for 11 years and 20 to 21% on silver. But that's what they intend to do. It's just like last May when I called here on the program for QE2 and QE3. Everybody was going, I don't think so. Well, it turned out that way, and I think we're going to get number 3, and that's part of number 3. And
Bob, I got to interrupt. You said that 2 weeks ago here. It's on record and in your newsletter, but explain what QE2, QE3, SDR is for those that don't know.
Well, quantitative easing. It's another euphemism for explaining the creation of money and credit out of thin air. The IMF issues SDRs, special drawing rights. They are not backed by anything. It's just another phony baloney currency. And it's not used very widely. They tried to implement in 1967 68. It was a disaster. In fact, gold ran up for the first time in that time period. And the government illegally came in and squashed it. As I found out years later, I didn't know it at the time. But they want to continue to liquefy. And when you liquefy and throw money at the problem, you just get more inflation. Eventually it leads to hyperinflation and then a collapse and deflationary depression. And that's what they want worldwide. And they think out of this mess that they've created, they're going to be able to force us to accept world government, and it's not going to happen.
Well, that's the plan. They've engineered the crisis on record. We have the IMF World Bank documents. They think they're going to finagle a global police state out of the unrest. Food prices go up in the U.S. It hurts. Food prices go up in Egypt, people start starving to death, and you can't just call them Muslim extremists. They're so desperate with their kids starving at home, they're lighting themselves on fire. And no doubt this is already sending oil and gold and food and other commodities up, the unrest. If Egypt falls, and as of 2 hours ago, the police are now joining the crowds in Alexandria and the other major cities like Cairo, and you've got hundreds of millions of people now starting to get involved in this. They called out the military. They're just mowing people down now. That started right as they cut the internet off over there, showing how fast governments can do this. Headline, Egypt's internet kill switch coming to America, Infowars.com by Steve Watson. I mean, this is really shades of things to come. I don't think it'll be as intensified or as extreme here in the West, but we're already seeing it in many areas of Europe. Where do you see this going? What's your time frame with this flaring up? And what happens if Egypt does fall to their population? Won't that supercharge rebellions worldwide?
Well, it certainly will in Saudi Arabia, which is right next to Egypt. And Libya, I don't know. I don't think so. But then you go north to Jordan. Jordan's a very pro-British American state with another dummy running it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't spread there as well. And so we're looking at changes. And I you know, from what I've gleaned thus far, this is not some radical movement. These people are hungry. And I think it's as simple as that.
Empty stomachs make for rebellion. Certainly didn't 89. Look, how many years have we talked about Ceausescu? My film, Obama Deception, Fall of the Republic. Obama Deception made almost 2 years ago, folks. Get it. Because it's more powerful now. People see it and they go, how did all these guests and economists and sociologists that Alex interviewed, how did they predict this? Because we know what dollar devaluation, when it's the world reserve currency, does. We know what the Defense Department and Ministry of Defense in England have been gearing up for. They believe they're going to bring in this crisis and ride it till Valhalla. I think they're riding it right over the edge of a cliff. But, I mean, Bob, you didn't say this 2 weeks ago. You've been saying it every week for years and years and years, probably 7, 8 years on this show, that we were coming towards this. I had economists like George Humphrey here when they got rid of Glass-Steagall. I had you on then saying the same thing. I mean, we know. It's like you shoot somebody in the head with a .45, you know it's going to probably kill them. I mean, it's not like we're rocket scientists to know what's happening. And it's just so amazing to see this turmoil accelerating.
Well, I think your commentary is excellent. And the reason why is it's all there for anybody to read. In almost the same way, history repeats itself because it's the same gang of criminals that are doing the same thing over and over and over again. And most people don't catch on because they're not educated or ill-educated, and even people within the professional ranks. And many of them can't argue because if they do, they lose their jobs, like economists for major corporations, et cetera, or analysts. So they got to keep their mouth shut. It's only people like you and I and a handful of others get up there and say, no, the dog is white, not black. Come on, get with it.
Well, we're watching a live stream feed. They've shut the internet off in the country, but Al Jazeera's got a satellite connection, and we see the police live fleeing and being routed, and the feed just cut by the Egyptian people. And again, the reports are they've got the military now firing on everybody. I don't know. They say that's a live stream, but I don't know how it could be because it's dark there now. Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
You know, Alex, that's going to end very badly because the military can in no way control those people. I mean, there's millions of them. You know, they throw enough rocks, you're going to knock the guy down, whether he's got a helmet and a vest on, and then you take his weapon, and then things really get hot. And I think that's going to happen. This thing is full-blown.
Well, right now we're watching footage of just the police completely being routed and fleeing, and they're repeating the footage. So this was obviously had to be earlier, even if Al Jazeera says live. But just absolutely incredible. And they've called the military out. I guess it rests on the military. A, are they going to be able to suppress the people? B, will they join the people? C, will the military side with the dictator but then be defeated?
Well, I think they've already sided with the dictator who's luxuriating in London, and I think they're going to lose.
Yeah, what does that say? So that's confirmed that he has fled? It is confirmed that Hosni Mubarak did flee yesterday?
No, I've read that in several reports.
Yeah. Wow, well...
And, you know, usually when that happens, they don't go back.
Guys, let's double check on that.
Going to lose.
Let's double check, because the media is reporting he fled to London. But let's search Hosni Mubarak in London. Let's see if we can absolutely nail that down. He's hiding out. We know that. So, in your gut, do you think Egypt's going to fall?
Well, I think they're going to have a change of government, and I think it's healthy. And I don't think it's being run by extremists. These people are hungry, and the same thing happened in Tunisia. I've been in all these countries, and the poverty's terrible. I mean, that includes Morocco and Algeria, and you go south, it's just as bad. Nigeria, I mean, it's one big Benji ditch. Those are the ditches that run along the streets where people relieve themselves. There's some things Americans just don't know go on in this world.
We've got several publications we've been putting up on screen. The big Israeli newspapers, Israeli National News, is reporting that Mubarak's wife and son have fled to London amid protest. We've got other reports that he's fled as well. And, if he's fled, that's pretty much a shoo-in that it's going to be a change in government. The question is, what will it be? We're going to ask Bob if he thinks there's any way this could be Western intelligence behind this, as some people are saying. Wayne Madsen concurs with us and thinks this is organic due to food prices.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Go solar for cheap. Want to use solar power but the price is too high? Now you can build your own solar panels for less than $200 at 123cheapsolar.com. Don't laugh. We've sold over 45,000 solar do-it-yourself kits. Watch the step-by-step videos that even non-handyman types can use. We offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to 123cheapsolar.com or call 800-713-0486. 800-713-0486. Reduce your foreign oil dependency when you go green with 123cheapsolar.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality.